and to do that, we have to look at something that a lot of people don't look like to talk about. They don't like to think about, and that's budget. I mean, everybody's spending habits are based upon how much money they have coming in.
And welcome into Financial Focus, brought to you by the best of the best in financial services, as named by the readers of the Lake City Reporter. 10 straight years and running the best of the best in financial services is GulfCoast Financial Services. Founder and CEO John Kuykendall here with us, keeping us financially focused. And today, focusing on one of the quintessential questions that I think savers and investors have. And John, that is, am I ready to retire? How much do I need to retire? All forms of this question really kind of focusing on our retirement preparedness and what we need to do. And I know that you look at this almost each and every day there at GulfCoast Financial Services.
Yeah, Peter, and we take an individual approach. There's no one number for one individual. I always think back to those ads on television a couple of years ago where the guy was walking down the street and he says, "What's your number?" And he's got an egg over his head with a number in it. Some people say I need $1 million. Some people say I need 2 million. Some people can retire comfortably on $500,000. So it just depends on your individual lifestyle, your individual situation, and where we're going in retirement. Some people have more active retirements than other people, and so they need more money.
So, John, in your assertion there, it is not a single universal lump sum. It's not a specific age. It's not necessarily how many years of service that we've had. We've really got to break this down on an individual basis and to address this essential question.
Yeah, Peter, and to do that, we have to look at something that a lot of people don't look like to talk about. They don't like to think about, and that's budget. I mean, everybody's spending habits are based upon how much money they have coming in. While we're working, it's no problem because every week or 2 weeks we get paid, we got cash flow coming in, and so we're able to meet our bills. But in retirement, how much am I going to need so that we can come up with an income gap? And that's really important, Peter, that we understand where we are and where we're going as far as that income gap.
Our salary naturally creates the budget and the spending plan for us. If we exceed spending too long, it can be catastrophic during our working years if we're outpacing the income and the paycheck.
Well, sure, because that's why, with some number like 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. It's because we've got too many wants and that are a lot more than our needs. And so in retirement, where we don't have that weekly paycheck or that paycheck coming in from employment, we're paying ourselves. And we have to figure out what our budget is, how much money we're going to need to make our essentials, and then how much money am I going to set aside for trips and other entertainment, and then how do I have that money coming in? And what I want to do, Peter, is look at that income gap, which is the amount of money that I have coming in, guaranteed, Social Security, pensions, required minimum distributions, if you want to think it like that. How much am I going to have coming in? And then how much do I have going out? And what the shortfall is or what the surplus is. And if I've got a shortfall, then I have to figure out how I'm going to get predictable, sustainable income coming in every month to make that shortfall. And then I can go forward with my retirement.
John, I'd have to imagine that most of your clients there at GulfCoast Financial Services in the day and in the years before retirement, they don't have a shortfall. They've got a rather comfortable surplus. They're able to maintain their lifestyle expenses within their income and their salaries. But the day after retirement, that shortfall is probably not only there, but maybe even more significant for them than somebody that had to pinch every penny and stretch every dollar and wasn't so comfortable in their income during their working career.
Yeah, I mean, most of our clients are thrift, they're savers. They have set aside a certain amount of money. We know that we're going to be able to use that money in retirement. Our goal here at Gulf Coast is to make sure that we set them up so that we have enough money to last as long as they're in retirement, as long as they're alive. The last thing we want to do is run out of money. We
Does that lump sum sometimes lead us to a false sense of security about the amount of spending that we can do? Is that something that you have to address and rein in?
Oh yeah, I mean the thing is that we've had several people who have come in with a lump sum and gone crazy with their spending and have run out of money. And it really makes me sad that that's happened. But a lot of people just can't manage their own money.
So
They're
all of that being said, like even if we did not have to carefully pay attention to the budget during our working years, it is very beneficial to address the budget and create the spending plan for our retirement security.
Yeah, Peter, and as we've talked on this show many times about the Halloween candy, we want to make sure, again, that when we look at that budget plan, that spending plan, that I'm not spending all the candy up front and then I don't have any to have for later on. But at the other hand, I don't want to die and have all that candy left over and not have enjoyed myself. So there's a line that we have to approach and we have to get comfortable with so that we cover the contingencies, cover inflation, cover all the things that we're thinking about, and at the same time, make sure that we have our monthly needs met.
And all of those factors that you just mentioned, the inflation, along with taxation and the market, those can form cracks in the foundation over
Oh,
time,
sure,
right? Is
sure.
that we don't just address the foundation today or on the first day of retirement. We've got to put that foundation in place, but continue to fill in those cracks with more growth oriented kind of assets over time.
Well, that's why we use I like to use the bucket approach. I've got a growth bucket that's sitting over here with money that's invested in the market prudently, safely, but we're setting it aside but at the same time it has some risk. And then over here, I've got the bucket where I've got my predictable, sustainable income coming out. And I know that that's going to supplement my needs and also help me with inflation. The growth bucket, we have to have that because there are going to be things like the roof needs repair, the house needs this, or the bathroom stops up. There's all kinds of things that are going to happen in addition to more taxes, more inflation, and everything's going to cost more.
So not just putting the plan in place before retirement or on the day that we retire, but continuing to monitor and update that financially focused written retirement income plan is a regular practice there at Gulf Coast Financial Services because
Yeah.
of the changes in life and in the world around us.
Yeah, Peter, we like to say that this is a living, breathing a document. It has to be reviewed every year. We have to look at where you were, what your problems are, what you're thinking about doing this next year, and then make sure that it fits within the spending plan. If it doesn't, then we have to sit and talk about it. And we're also looking at taxes. Do I take money out of my IRA this year or do I wait till January? How those things all affect us from our Social Security and from our tax standpoint is something we look at all the time, as well as that Medicare IRMA, which everybody's concerned about because our Part B costs more the more income we make.
All right. Well, John, getting into how to make this financially focused income plan, the spending plan, the confidence that we have in spending throughout retirement as efficient, as effective, as confident and optimized as possible. We start with those dependable income streams, and you spend a lot of time with your clients helping them to optimize and maximize things like Social Security and pensions.
Well, we do. We sit down with them and we work through a Social Security maximization plan. We plan when we're going to draw Social Security. If there are any ways that we can draw now and save it for later or do different things, we'll do that. We look at all of the ways that they have money coming in and how are we going to cover long-term care costs? How are we going to handle the things that are going to happen in life as we get older? And we try to put those in place now while we're working on the income plan. It's all part of the process, Peter, and it's something that we have to do.
John, there's a theory around that, a pretty famous financial guru, Tom Hegna, who talks about the difference in the streams of income, right?
That's right. He's talking about paychecks and paychecks. The paychecks are the money we're going to use every month that we're going to pay ourselves. And we have those during our working days. And then the paychecks are the money that I'm going to use for my trips, for my new golf clubs, whatever I'm going to do, so that we understand in retirement that we get two types of checks. And we make sure that those fit into our budget and that we have the money we need every month.
John, when we are retired and drawing from our portfolio, it's not just the stress of the market at that point in time. It's the stress of those income withdrawals as well. That compounds the difficulty in managing money. So in order to put as little stress on the portfolio as possible, again, optimizing these other guaranteed sources of income is an important exercise pre-retirement.
Well, it is, Peter. If we think back to the last generation, that generation did well in retirement because they had pensions. We don't have pensions in this generation. So we have to create our own pension. And what I like to do is say that's what we're doing. We're creating a private pension with annuity payments, life insurance payments that are going to come in every month. And so those are going to be our predictable, sustainable income as long as we live. And some of those actually have increases based upon inflation. So it works out great that we can create our own pension.
And we also need to maybe examine, it's not that we want to limit. It's not that we want to, no, we can't do that. No, we can't afford that. No, we can't go there or take that trip. We want the freedom to do those things. That's what the spending plan is all about. But John, we also need to identify the want to haves versus the need to haves, right? And cover those needs with as dependable income as possible.
Well, that's right. We cover the needs with the dependable income because that's part of the budget. And then we cover the wants based upon what we have going forward with the growth bucket. So it really works out great, Peter.
And then, John, eventually down the road, we've formulated this plan. We've been satisfying the income need, and then the government might give us income when we need it the least. You mentioned those RMDs. We don't want to take them, but we have to take them. We should plan to be as efficient with those as possible as well, and that's part of the financially focused income plan.
It is, Peter. That we just met with a client this morning, and we were talking about making sure that they were giving their donations to their charities out of their IRA so that it would count as part of their distribution, but also not count as income because we're not able to itemize on our taxes. So those are the kind of things we look at, ways that we can maximize the deductions we get for the required minimum distributions. Majority of my clients don't need the required minimum distributions to live on, but we're required to take that money because the government wants to get paid their taxes on it. So we have to figure out a way that efficiently we can pass that money out and pay the taxes on it, but at the same time, not hurt us tax-wise.
And you can sort of pick and choose where to take that from, but you got to take it. It's mandatory.
Yeah. They'll find it if you don't take it.
I heard Dave Ramsey on the radio the other day, and he was talking to somebody asking a question, is he technically a 401k millionaire? And Dave was sort of absconding him and saying, well, of course you are, because a millionaire is your net worth. It's what you have minus what you owe. And if you've got $1 million in your 401k, you've got $1 million. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, hold on, Dave, you still owe the taxes there, right?
Yeah. I mean, that $1 million is only worth 700,000 about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to pay the taxes on it. And so while you may think that you're retiring with $1 million, you're really not. We're retiring with $1 million minus whatever tax rate I have to pay when I take that money out.
Yeah.
So, we owe the government, and the government's going to get theirs, trust me.
Yeah. Admonishing him, not absconding. The government is going to abscond with the tax dollars there, right? They're going to get that. Yeah.
They're going to take
which John brings home another point, is that we need to be as efficient as possible. And I know throughout the last really year, if not maybe 18 months or 2 years, you've been talking about how now is a time where we can do more with less. We can get leverage. Are these good rates for income production something that you're talking with current clients about as you're doing these annual reviews of the income plan?
Well, yeah, Peter, right now we're in a window where rates are up. Rates aren't going to be up forever. I think rates will start coming down when the new president takes over in January. So we need to, as he starts his campaign to lower rates, we need to go ahead and take advantage of this. We're paying out high rates on the annuities. We got better amortization tables than we've ever had as far as payouts. Tremendous bonuses up front for income. Life insurance actuarial stuff has been revamped. This is just a great time for financial people to take advantage of things that are available to us under the new regime.
Well, as much as possible, our retirement spending, our ability to meet our budget should be filled with certainty, dependability, durability, lasting confidently throughout our life to provide for our lifestyle. And John, that's exactly the goal of the financially focused written retirement income plan. It is not what most people have. And I think that that is a key difference, is that many people have an investment plan during their working years. Very few people actually transition that into an income plan for retirement until they realize the necessity of it. And by then being proactive may have served them better.
Well, a financial plan shows where we are with our investments, where we are with where we are today. An income plan is going to try to take you through the next 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years, but we have to update it annually because things change. But we're looking at a longer projection of trying to figure out how we're going to sustain your lifestyle during retirement. And it's a totally different concept, Peter. I love the concept. Income planning is what we really need to be doing, because in retirement, that's what we're living on, income. And it's our income we have to pay ourselves. And so we need to figure out how to work it, and we can't hoard it, because Peter, as Tom Hagley also said, there are three phases of retirement. The go, where I'm going all the time, the slow go, where I'm still going, but not as often. Maybe I'm taking a cruise once a year instead of twice. And then the no-go, where I'm just happy to stay home. And if you think about it, your mother and dad and all the people who have aged through the cycle, that is exactly what happened to them. And so as we transverse through this retirement years, we want to make sure that while we're retiring early, we want to make sure that we live the best life we can, so that we can we'll still have money to live, but we're not going to go as much. And I'm not leaving, I'd like to leave some money to the kids, but I don't care about living a lot to them.
Uh-huh. Not selfish at all. Not selfish at all. You want to enjoy your money. No problem.
I want to enjoy myself. Brent told me the other day, he said, I think I must be getting ahead of him, because I've always told him that I'm going to spend as much as I can. It's his problem to earn me as much as I can so that I don't run out, because he gets what's left over. Well, he told me the other day, he says, I think you're going into your slow-go years. And I think that meant I'm spending too much. But, it's his problem, not mine.
Well, my dad said he was going to bounce his last check. I said, no problem, as long as it's the last check you need to write. So on this program, John, we have discussed designing that retirement spending plan. It is about spending with confidence, not limiting, not denying, not saying no, not living a less than or a just in case retirement. It is living retirement to the fullest, because you've got a plan that allows you to spend with confidence. It includes the budget, it includes the lump sum, it includes dependably filling the income gap. And that financially focused written retirement income plan, John, that's really where retirement planning begins and where financial confidence begins.
That's right, Peter. I don't know how anyone can go into retirement and not have an income plan, so they know how they're going to be able to pay their bills, support their families, and be able to live until they pass away the life that they want to live and not be a burden on someone else. And so, I want my clients to enjoy themselves. I want them to take their trips. But, we're going to look at the taxes and the consequences, and we're going to give you some advice. And as you said earlier, I'm not trying to tell you can't spend your money. I'm just going to tell you what happens if you do spend it. And so, we need to be proactive.
Yep. Well, you got to have a plan in place. The financially focused plan helps you get that in order, ladies and gentlemen. Helps savers and investors better determine your outcome, your lifestyle, your financial confidence. Specifically, if you'd like to learn how to retire or to control your risk or to minimize taxes or to maximize the available sources of income that you do have. If you'd like to know and learn more about your money to feel more confident, give Gulf Coast Financial Services and John Kuykendall a call. Request that financially focused written retirement income plan and the planning strategy session, the review of your comprehensive situation, putting that plan in writing. 386-755-9018 is the number to call. 386-755-9018. You can also visit online, GulfCoastFinancial.net, GulfCoastFinancial.net, or 386-755-9018. Call now, visit, get in touch, get the plan in your hands to make 2024, the little bit of year we have left, 2025 and all the years thereafter, the best they possibly can be by having that financial confidence of a plan. Give Gulf Coast Financial Services a call. See why they've been named best of the best 10 straight years and running by the readers of the Lake City Reporter for Financial Services. John and the team there are your resource. 386-755-9018. 386-755-9018. John, always appreciate the time here on Financial Focus.
Thank you, Peter. Great to be here. I'll see you next week.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. has been named as Best of the Best since 2015 in the category of Best Financial Advisor in the Lake City, Florida area. The award was based on receiving the most votes in this category from a survey offered and tabulated by the Lake City Reporter. No direct or indirect compensation was provided to the Lake City Reporter and/or any raters, and the award is not contingent on future direct or indirect compensation offered to the newspaper and/or raters. Portfolio performance is not a criterion, and voting is open to any readers of the newspaper.